But here's the problem. The schools in this area, which are highly rated, they have great test scores. Culturally, a lot of the students there are studying for the SAT in middle school. I mean, they're not messing around, right? They're incredibly competitive, but that comes at a cost. And what they're trying to do is, I remember from my days teaching, is have a meeting, everybody get on the same page, and next Friday we're all check the boxes. We don't have time to slow down. And then next Friday, we all need to give the same test. But here's what's missing is the conversational element of the classroom. The teacher saying why, and kids developing their voice, gaining leadership skills. It's just missed opportunities. And now you throw in their social media, guys, you would be shocked if you could go walk into local high school and just peek in rooms and observe the lack of engagement with the teacher, with the instructor. I mean, think about it. You're a teenage girl and you have your phone out, you're hiding it behind the person's back in front of you. And you get a mean, like, Snapchat thing. That kid is cooked the whole day.
Welcome to the Small Business Safari, where I help guide you to avoid those traps, pitfalls, and dangers that lurk when navigating the wild world of small business ownership. I'll share those gold nuggets of information and invite guests to help accelerate your ascent to that mountaintop of success. It's a jungle out there, and I want to help you traverse through the levels of owning your own business that can get you bogged down and distract you from hitting your own personal and professional goals. So strap in, adventure team, and let's take a ride through the safari and get you to the mountaintop. Welcome back to the Small Business Safari. We're rolling right into this shit. We're going to make this stuff happen. I didn't mean to say that, especially if you're a parent of our guest or their student. But
it won't be the last one.
It won't be. But before we get to him, I was going to ask you to ask me, what did I do this weekend? But I'm just going to jump into it.
Yeah. Oh, let me ask.
You could go.
Yeah, because I actually had a pretty good weekend, but yeah. It was a great weekend, but then I found out what you did this weekend.
That's right, baby.
What did you do this weekend,
All right,
Chris?
Friday night, I went and watched my friend's son, who is 6'11", and now at a prep school in Arizona, where this is going to feed into the whole show, is that I learned that high school is a totally different being for kids who are really athletically gifted. And this kid's playing prep school basketball in Arizona. They flew him here to Atlanta. He played against a bunch of kids here in Atlanta who are not just going to school, but getting paid to go to school, under 17, 18 years old, being paid $100,000 a year. This environment was most off the chain thing you could say as an old man like me. I walked in there. I'm like, what in the hell did I just walk into? This is not your high school basketball gym. I mean, smoke's going, music's going, bebop, they're throwing t-shirts in the stands. The place is packed, and this kid's got to play in this environment. Kid's pretty good. Look out for him, Zach Schurler. Follow him on Twitter. Great follow. But the kid's going to play.
And that was
just Friday.
Yeah, that was just Friday. That's kind of
nice.
the lead up to the weekend.
And that was just Friday.
Yeah.
And that was in Atlanta. So Saturday morning, I do work, and so we had all of our subcontractors come to the office for an appreciation day, and fed them, talked to them a little bit about thanking them so much.
Were you looking at your watch the whole time you were appreciating them because you had to go?
I was. Because I went down to the airport, got on an airplane at 4:00. My friend picks me up at the Daytona International Airport, takes me to a yacht where we spend the night with Doug Yates and the entire Ford Yates racing team and a whole bunch of other muckety mucks in NASCAR.
Were your employees feeling appreciated at that point?
So they don't really know about all that after that, but let's keep going. So Sunday morning I wake up, I have breakfast made for me by my other buddy's wife, and this is my other buddy who used to own a NASCAR team, who everybody knows who he is, but you won't know him if you follow NASCAR at all, because he was always behind the scenes, but was always in it. We take off, we go to the airport, we go to the track, we get into the pits. Doug takes us in. We go onto the grid. I say hi to Pitbull. I go on down the road, keep talking to everybody else. We're talking to everybody. My buddy knows Joey Logano. We're down there. We are VIPing all over the place. And I was VIPing all over myself the whole time I was down there. I was at the Daytona 500 on the grid. I was there. We watched the first stage from the pit box, number 15, right behind Fox. Got to see him start. Got a whole bunch of video of pit crews doing their thing, which is an amazing team activity, by the way.
Yeah, it's
got
amazing.
to watch the Daytona 500 get started, watch the first stage there, then go back into the infield because we were kind of hungry.
Yeah,
and we ended up walking into a VIP eating place where we ate food. Then we went over to the motor coach. And by the way, did you know motor coaches can go for $2 million? They can. And because I just sat in one. I sat there for a little bit.
What do you get for $2 million in a motor coach?
It is Mac,
everything.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Anything you want.
How many TikToks did you do in that motor coach?
I didn't do any TikTok in his motor coach, but I TikToked all the way around it. And then my buddy takes me back over to the airport, 5 minutes from the track, by the way. I walk in, I get on an earlier flight back to Delta. Back to Atlanta. I'm back at my house at 9:00. So I flew out at 4 on Saturday. I was back home at my house at 9:00 after going to the Daytona 500.
Nice.
And that was my weekend, Alan.
Yeah. I'll just save my story for another day.
All right. We're going to use yours later because I really love it, because actually yours was filled with a lot more love. And I think that was very cool. But
mine was much more genuine.
Yours
a
was
lot fewer strippers.
What? I didn't bring up that. Did I say that?
You told me you were on a yacht.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Daytona.
I got to tell you about Daytona. That's my first teaching job right there.
Is
You
that
taught
right?
in Daytona?
Yeah, I could look out of my classroom, Seabreeze High School, and between the condos, I could see the ocean.
Wait a minute. This is a new voice on the radio. I didn't even talk to him.
Hey,
Everybody,
Let's jump right in.
Hunter Cluthe is in the house. Hunter Cluthe is William and Reed Academy. This is a different way of doing teaching in school. And we're going to talk about this.
It's the way it ought to be.
And we're going to talk
It's
about that too, because
A shame that it's different.
this is an entrepreneurial podcast, and everybody, this is going to be a great entrepreneurial story. And you just got a little window into who we're talking to, because we talk a lot about being able to educate people on our podcast, have some fun with it, but also entertain you while we're doing it. And is that how school was when you grew up? Is that how school was when you went to school? No, 2 + 2 is 4. 4 + 4 is 7.
Detention.
4 + 5 is 7. I can't remember what those were. And then detention. Or you have to go to the blackboard back in the chalkboard days and say, I will not shut up 500 times.
Or keep your
Mr. Crocky.
keep your nose on the blackboard. Did you have to do that?
I didn't have to do that because my nose is
That's
so big.
hard.
Yeah, but I did have to write, I will not say shut up 500 times on the blackboard. I did. Mr. Scrocky. And I did not say I would shut up to him. I just said it to another kid because I am the story. Anyway, back to Hunter Cluthe and what he's done. So Hunter just gave you a little window into the beginning. So Hunter, career educator, and then had this idea that actually I don't know much about yet, but I do know about the product because I have a friend who's had his child go through it. And it actually, and I will give you a quote, it transformed her life and probably saved her from a very bad outcome. Meaning she was thinking literally about killing herself. And then after being able to go to his school and not have to go through the rigors of the regular school, she is now a thriving young adult. So
Your friend,
Hunter, you didn't know that I was going to drop that on you, but I'm going
I
to drop
thought you were going to talk about
No, no, you're
graduate at the table. But
yeah. Your friend
That's
is not
heavy,
the only
man.
one, and I think I always weird Hunter out when I say you save lives, but he does. I mean,
Right.
and so when we start talking about this for the listener, because Hunter, I don't know if you know this, we're on 15 continents, and the fact is we are podcasting, and your school is in one of the most affluent areas in Atlanta, one of the most affluent areas in the country. The public high school is super highly ranked and regarded nationally, certainly in the state.
Yep.
And there's an enormous number of very highly regarded, very expensive private schools in the area. Then you get your wild hair to start yours.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, so let's back up, and let's just explain to everybody what did you start and what do you have today?
Okay, I have to finish my thought on Daytona.
All right, let's go back to because I can talk
because this is great, man.
Yeah.
So I take my first teaching job. I graduate USF in Tampa, and just like every college graduate, please, dear God, let me get a job. And not only do I want a job, don't let it be middle school. I'll take any high school job.
Middle school's the worst, isn't it?
Middle school teachers are either insane or saints. There's no in between.
Yes.
And teachers throw down partying, but none like middle school teachers, man.
They deserve it.
It's next level, man.
Mm.
So I go to a job fair, and there's Seabreeze High School. And I said, it's on the beach. I can surf. I'll take it. And they said, well, we need a football coach, and I said, well, okay. I mean, I look like a football coach, but I only played 1 year. I'm coaching with ex-NFL players like Ronnie Lott type guys.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. There's a Hooters right across the street from the Speedway.
Allegedly.
So you've been told.
And they would do Monday night trivia there. And
Yeah,
I was like the little chihuahua with a bunch of Rottweilers walking in that place, man. I was like ready to go. These guys were huge. But our mascot.
You'd be the chirper, you'd be the hype beast, and they're
Pretty
like, who
much.
wants some of this? Who wants, well,
You're
you
really picking him off, man. Earl, come take care of this.
Oh my God.
So our mascot, and they were like state champs, Seabreeze High School fighting sand crabs.
Oh my God.
Of all
I need
ocean
some gear.
animals, we were the crabs.
I need
fighting
some gear.
crabs. Okay, so when we play New Smyrna Beach, and this is before cell phones, they're the Barracudas. So the scoreboard would say crabs and cudas. Where are cell phones when you need it? Okay. That being said, maybe we hope our parents don't listen to this. But for everybody else, enjoy. So yeah, so that's my Daytona Beach story. So what was the question again? Sorry,
Oh,
let me
that's
jump
right.
back in.
And so, how did you craft young people's minds and save their lives? No, so let's go back. So, William and Reed,
Yeah.
tell everybody what this is.
Okay, so William and Reed Academy is a school designed for today's student.
All right.
And education has not evolved. It's still the industrial complex. Let's all, the idea is you have 7 periods. Bing, bing. We heard the kids to first period, middle of the day. We heard them to the trough. Then we heard them back. And at the end of the day, it's like The Walking Dead. They're walking around with 80-pound backpacks, shuffling their feet. And it's like, it's almost like educational and parental malpractice, and then you sprinkle in cell phones and technology and social media, and you wonder why teen anxiety and teen depression is just through the roof right now. And it's just not designed to be as productive for so many students. There are kids that thrive in that environment, but there's a lot of kids where it's just a lot of wasted time and a lot of unnecessary pressure.
Oh my God.
And
you know what? We usually bring people smarter than us. And now I'm feeling so dumb and so little.
You're okay, Chris.
He's killing me, dude. This is amazing. I mean, this is mind-blowing stuff, what he's saying, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's just getting started.
Oh, let's go.
Well, and I want to say, though,
We're walking in.
He started this because you saw a niche, if I am not mistaken.
So what happened was I hustle. I'm like you, right? And so as a teacher,
He can already spot you two are cut from the same cloth.
You can hustle.
As a teacher,
I gave him the wink.
Yeah. Hey. As a teacher, I would teach with people that would say, hey, I'll never live in that neighborhood. I'm a teacher, and that's unacceptable to me. So like on a teacher salary, I lived in an affluent neighborhood in the area because I hustled, man. I tutored in the evening, and I would flip houses in the summertime. And then I got tired of paying a real estate agent, so I got my real estate license, still have it. And it's just a hustle, right? And so when I was teaching full time, I opened a tutoring center, and I had kids later on in life. I got married at 38. I'm 51 now and have twin 10-year-old girls and a 6-year-old son, single dad.
God bless you.
I know, it's awesome.
And I'm so glad now that mine are older. And even though I will say this, little kids, little problems, big kids, they're big problems.
Yes, sir.
And boy, what a pain in the ass
Chris,
one of them is.
Do better.
I know. I'm about to pinch your little head right off, by the way. And that's my daughter, who came home last night, 7:30 at night, says, hey, Dad, my car's making a really big grinding sound. I said, Sid, that means there's no oil in it. I said, why didn't you tell me earlier? Because, am I only supposed to tell you this during business hours? I said, no, how about when you're driving the flipping car, kid? Right? Because so at 7:30, Daddy doesn't have to put his sandals on and go out in his robe and offend everybody and grab some oil and come back to fill it up. Anyway, back to you.
Sandals in the robe. Can you go put that on for this?
Yeah, please tell me at least.
I know you were
tightened the belt around the robe before you.
I was wearing boxers.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank God.
Oh, yeah.
But
So,
as Gene Simmons says, the junk did come out, kind of like the rhyme flows. That's bad. And by the way,
I'd like to give a shout out to all the William and Reed Academy parents. I had no idea what I was walking into here.
But it was Gene Simmons. I didn't say that. Gene Simmons.
You're just
Of
quoting.
course he did.
Yeah, I was just quoting. I'm quoting a published author.
That's right.
All right, back to Hunter.
There's a stab.
Yeah,
Go ahead. All right.
So it was a little bit selfish, I love tutoring. I like teaching. I was a classroom teacher for almost 20 years, high school math. And the hours, I was putting in 90 hours, and I was missing being a dad. My whole life, I just want to be a dad. And so I had these teachers coming in the evening, from these top-notch North Fulton schools and Forsyth schools, saying I'm getting out. I drive home feeling like I got no traction today. I got 160, 170 kids, all with cell phones, no parental support, no administrative support. I'm getting out. And I said, no, if we could start our own school, what would it look like? And that's how William and Reed Academy was born.
Oh my God, dude, this is avant-garde. I mean, I love this stuff.
Yeah.
So what year did you start this?
So our first year, I put it in motion. I taught at a private school briefly, which also helped give me the courage to do it, because it wasn't a good operation, in my opinion. It wasn't up to my standards and philosophy, and we just didn't share the same standards. And so I said, hey, if this school can do this with this group of teachers, imagine what I could do with the people I know.
Okay.
You know, and so that really gave me some strength to do it. And to be honest with you, the tutoring center was a good business, but it's saturated. Every corner has a tutoring center. The difference was we had certified local teachers. Like, you're going to get the AP physics teacher from Northview High School tutoring your student. Right?
And so again, you won't know this if you're in Asia or if you're in Europe. What he's talking about is here in the States, you know, our high school system, I think, is revered around the rest of the world, right? About being good.
We love that noise.
So, and don't worry, William and Reed parents, that's me. And I'm still going, but you got to follow Hunter. But when you say this, AP Physics, Northview in our state of Georgia is considered one of the top educational institutions. And so you got the AP Physics guy to come teach at your tutoring place.
Yeah, it was a cool business model, because most of the franchises pay next to nothing. They'll charge $70, $80, $90 an hour. They're paying the tutor maybe $20. And a lot of teachers are excited to get that. I did in-home tutoring for a while, and it was awful. Do you guys remember the movie Office Space?
Yeah, yeah.
In the old school, we did a bunch of dad jokes to warm this up. We pre-flighted some dad jokes. But in the movie Office Space, every day this guy would go to work, and he just reluctantly touch the door handle, and it would shock him just to set the tone for the day. That was me tutoring in home. I'm allergic to cats, right?
Oh my gosh.
And you don't have cats in here, do you?
God, no.
Oh, thank God. Okay. And
What's
so
wrong with cats?
Are you a cat man?
Love cats.
Uh-oh. I think Andy Richter's about to get kicked off the podcast. He's been asking me. Yeah, he's been
sorry about the coughing. This cheap bourbon has a bone in it.
I gave Alan the sacrificial bourbon just because he hadn't earned the good stuff yet. Let's continue, because we're about to set the educational.
Your cheap bourbon is bullet.
It is. It's good though.
It's just rolling.
Is that expensive? Hello.
That's not a cheap bourbon.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, can we get back to Hunter and talk about how we're going to change?
I'm enjoying this, guys.
All right. So back.
No, just, the idea is to restore work-life balance. That's our whole.
But didn't you see a niche? I seem to recall you once telling me you saw a niche where there was an opportunity to compress the schedule. And originally the school was we've got a lot of potential D1 athletes in this area. Was that not part of it?
That was a little bit of it. I mean, there's an incredible amount of wasted time in a typical school day.
All right.
For most kids.
So let's talk about that. So here in America, when we go to high school, and actually back to the fact that I went to engineering school, right? And one of the things I had to do is I could either take a business class or take a history class. I took a history class, and so that's why I run my own business now. That's a long story.
I love history,
but we've heard this if you listen to the podcast. But one of the things I heard was that high school was only brought up because we had to keep the kids there longer so the parents could keep working. Is that high school was introduced here, because in England it was supposed to be you go to trade school, you go to apprenticeship school, but they created 4 more years of school. As a guy my grandparents actually literally were crying at my 8th grade graduation because I made it through 8th grade. My father was the first one to go to college in my family, but they were literally crying in 8th grade. And at my 8th grade graduation, I'm looking at my dad and he goes, well, you got to remember, this is grandma and grandpa, right? Fresh off the boat from Sicily. And he was the only one who had made it through school. But let's go back to what school
That's
is.
really cool, Chris.
It was very
I'll
cool.
stop jabbing you right now and that's a great moment.
Thanks. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
No, it really was. But I didn't understand it, didn't appreciate it until, my dad explained it to me. Because you go to high school and you're right. You have to be there at 8:00, showing discipline, right? And then you go beep, beep, or whatever. Ooh. And then, so 9 hours later, did you learn 9 hours worth of shit?
No.
Okay.
You're lucky if you learned an hour.
Lucky if you learned an hour.
For a lot of kids. Now, some kids thrive on this. But here's the problem. The schools in this area, which are highly rated, they have great test scores. Culturally, a lot of the students there are studying for the SAT in middle school. I mean, they're not messing around, right? They're incredibly competitive, but that comes at a cost. And what they're trying to do is, I remember from my days teaching, is have a meeting, everybody get on the same page, and next Friday we're all check the boxes. We don't have time to slow down. And then next Friday, we all need to give the same test. But here's what's missing is the conversational element of the classroom. The teacher saying why, and kids developing their voice, gaining leadership skills, that type of thing.
Oh, preach on, brother. Let's go.
All right.
Oh, I love it.
That's it. I mean,
it's
just missed opportunities. And now you throw in their social media, guys, you would be shocked if you could go walk into local high school and just peek in rooms and observe the lack of engagement with the teacher, with the instructor. I mean, think about it. You're a teenage girl and you have your phone out, you're hiding it behind the person's back in front of you. And you get a mean, like, Snapchat thing. That kid is cooked the whole day.
Because that's all she's thinking about.
Right. Now, all she's doing is texting other people. I mean, they could literally be on their phone 100% of their time. And people bring that, and you own a business.
Yeah.
They take that into life with them. I mean, get a room full of adults in like a faculty meeting or a business meeting and watch. They're disengaged. They're just stuck to their phones and they're just developing such bad habits. And to have small classrooms, we max at 16 kids per class and just rockstar teachers, rockstar. Now our English department is lacking. We had to hire this one guy.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
tell me his last name.
It was out of obligation.
You know what? To protect the innocent, let's just do some initials.
His brother went to our school, right? And his dad, he's okay, but we felt obligated to hire this guy. I mean, he's out in Athens. Nobody wanted him for work.
So he's probably not going to listen to this. But the last name is Wyatt. What? Yeah,
he's amazing. That guy,
of course he is, because he's Alan's son. That's who we're joking about. And again, you guys listen to the podcast. You know Alan, a completely solid dude. That's why I begged him to come on the podcast and just be here with me. By the way, I pay him with cheap bourbon. So he keeps.
For the first year, I had to bring my own beer, but finally, I've earned your cheap bourbon. I really appreciate that.
We had to earn it though. Hunter, you can't just give it to him. Right, you just can't.
I wouldn't appreciate it.
I got to make him earn. So not only do I ask
old
him
school, man,
to don't go out there and make any money. Come here, work for free. And oh, by the way, I don't have any beer. Can you bring some beer for me? And so you pay me to come on my podcast. Thank you. But back to what you've done. So obviously you talked about this. You hire Rockstar talent. Here's an entrepreneurial gold nugget you just said. You found great people to come work with you as you started this.
Correct.
Because it takes people to scale any business. And you're out there educating people. We're out there. I'm just fixing houses. Alan's out there just,
selling buildings.
Estate. Yeah. Well, ground.
Killing it, man.
Buildings too. Yeah. Other people's buildings.
I don't do land.
You don't do land?
No, that was the whole joke. When we started, it's like the only thing we don't do is land. And then the first thing I found was land.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's right.
It's not about me. It's about Hunter today.
All right.
It's a lot of
back to Hunter.
Back to Hunter.
We're making it back to you again.
No, but what blows my mind when you think about compare, for anybody who's out there who's a painter, a contractor, or whatever business you're in, this is such an entrepreneurial story because he has, first of all, you have this vision of what education should be like. Well, then you got to get these rockstar teachers to take a huge chance and leave the safety net of their, state benefits and blah, 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 their tenure. And Chris is counting on all fingers, all of his fingers.
Hey, when you get into teaching, but which, by the way, that truly is the Lord's work. That really is. Like you just said, I'm not getting any traction today. And I will go on record. Teachers are way underpaid for what they do because obviously they're dealing with all these kids.
Well, and the parents to form next year now, and not the William and Reed parents, which.
But
we got great parents.
No,
William and Reed parents
for the most part
ever.
Hey, we're not sucking up to the William and Reed parents.
Can you forward this away to a couple more people for me? No, I'm just kidding.
No. But no, I will tell you when I first met Hunter, he goes, I've got two rules for somebody getting into my school. The kid has to want to be here, and I have to like the parents.
Oh boy.
Now you compare that when my son was teaching in public school, he said at the beginning of the year, I don't have a working phone number or email for probably a third of the parents.
All right. You just hit another gold nugget entrepreneur. So when you let people into your business, do you qualify them? Do you, back to me in remodeling, do I sit there and go, you know what? I got to decide if you're good enough to work with me.
Yeah.
And he just basically said that.
You
And
absolutely have to keep that standard.
And you know why he does that? He goes, because that's the reason your son's working there now, because there's no jerks in there. There's no kids who don't want to be there. And there's no parents who are going to sit there and say, hey, you're not educating my kid.
Well, at the time, I remember
it together.
It was my youngest son who was looking to go to a school. And I looked at Hunter and I said, so you're telling me this decision kind of hinges on what my 11-year-old thinks? And he's like, pretty much.
I'm glad you remember all this stuff, but I'm kind of proud of myself. My 9 years ago self.
There you go.
Let's talk in another 9 years. And let's
That's
recapture.
I said, what?
All right.
Yeah.
So
I never meant that.
You have to get great people. You got to qualify who's coming in. I mean, honestly, this is just like any business we're talking about.
Yeah.
But while you're doing it again, I mean, you're shaping young people's minds. And I started out with, dude, I'm not joking. That's why I was waiting to hold on to this one. Is that my friend told me that his daughter went to your school, and if it wasn't for that school, I don't know if she'd be here anymore. That's how important it was to her.
I have two friends
that
said the same thing to me before we brought our son to Hunter. That's when I'm like, the dude saves lives. I mean, it's just, I wasn't joking.
So why is this school that good? Why is it? Well, no, you can't.
It's the 100%
bro. You got to keep talking. Okay, thank
it's
God.
It's the it's 100.
I'm worried I was gonna have to cut this sucker off. All right, let's go.
100% the teachers,
but it's a culture that you've created.
You know,
Exactly
there's. I'll give a shout out. I've never been to this business, but I love it. You drive by, it's a cell phone repair place, and it says "You break, I fix." Right. And with the teachers, you want, I buy. I mean, tell me what tools you need. I mean, you own where tools are used every day. And if you have your top carpenter coming to you saying, hey, this table saw is going to make me more efficient and produce a better product, you'd be foolish to not find a way to buy that table saw.
Right.
And so the teachers have a lot of ownership. They are stakeholders in the school, and I trust them. And, you know, it's funny. Have you guys, as you get older, you ever realize you're becoming your parents with your one-liners, you know, be part of the solution, not part of the problem?
But they're funny now.
Yeah. Not so funny. It depends how many whiskeys you've had or how many beers. But
you know, my dad actually chuckles all the time. He goes, don't you hate that you're becoming me? I'm like, every day.
I got a good nugget for you. Okay. And let me just give a shout out to my parents who are gone. They died, but the school is named after my mom, Molly Reed, and my dad, William Cluthe, William and Reed Academy. And my mom had, you know, my dad died when I was 10, and she raised 4 of us. And I didn't like school. I think that makes me a better educator. Like, I kind of feel the pain of it for kids that are just chugging through it. And she had a line to me, which I frequently bring up in faculty meetings. And, you know, if you think I never went to the principal's office, you know, because of mischief, think again. I mean, we've known each other 20, 30 minutes now. And, you know, I've spent my fair amount of time in the seat in there. And when my mom would come up to the school,
I went from being verklempt and crying to chuckling, going, yeah, I can see that.
Yes. Let me give you a topic.
Let me give you a topic.
Rhode Island, neither a road, Norman, I discuss. All right. That's what amongst yourselves.
I'm in. And then boom. I'm like, oh, yeah.
And then I can't get up. I keep drinking these Heymans. I will fall.
I'm waiting for you to break into a rap. I've seen him do that before.
It's
a function.
The Uber ride home.
Yeah, good.
Guys, just so you know, they're forcing this on me. If you're listening to this,
this
is not
he
free
said
will.
no,
about going to
and then I gave him 2.
And you know what? You probably want to move here just to go to the school, because we're breaking in some serious crap here, man. I'm serious.
Well, here's a nugget for all of your listeners. Okay. My mom had this saying, she'd come up to school to bail me out of jail, right? The principal's office. And she'd want to talk to me in the hall, and she'd say, I'll have your back. But she get nose to nose. She likes saying, listen to me, you little son of a bitch. And I'll say, yes, I am.
That was your answer?
Yeah, she loved it.
Oh, okay.
And she'd say, before we go in there, you know, I'll have your back. And she would. She was feared in Collier County, Florida. Like, if there was a parent-teacher conference with Molly Reed, they would avoid it at all costs. She said, I will have your back, just no surprises. And the nugget for your listeners is, What I tell the teachers is I say almost every week at a faculty meeting, I say, look, guys, these parents here will have your back 100%, just no surprises. You have to openly communicate. They can't be blindsided by anything. And really, if you do a good job on the admission side, putting the right, not just the right students, but the right families in your school, and you just keep communication open, it really runs pretty smooth.
How about that? That's another gold nugget. No surprises, right? You can tell me anything because what she meant to you, what she said is, did you do it? And you're like, 100% I did it.
Yep. And she'd still have my back.
And she'd have your back.
You lie to her before going in.
And again, the very little I know about Collier County, that's pretty big to be feared in Collier County as a white lady. That's pretty solid. And so, you know what? All due respect. God bless her in heaven. And you know what? I'm fearing her now.
You should, man.
I love that.
She doesn't mess around, man.
It does kind of remind me when I was in the corporate world, the guy I reported to, I'm like, shouldn't we talk a little bit more? And he's like, yeah, if you want to, but the bottom line is I pay you a lot of money to do this job. And he goes, the only time I'm going to get upset is if I get a phone call that I wasn't expecting. Or if I get sued and I didn't know I was going to get sued. And so, I'm like, all right, well, I'll just make sure you're going to get sued. And then we ended up with a great relationship.
It's no surprises, man. And
but how did you get that first group of teachers to say,
this is great.
I'm going to go ahead and I love Hunter. He's fun. He raps. He has good pool parties. But, now he's starting a school. Do I want to step away from whatever security I have and take a chance here?
You're going to like this. So one of the first teachers. So when I was teaching at Northview, one of my dear friends, this is just an amazing, badass teacher, Carrie Uhas.
Yeah, she is.
And I mean, talk about changing lives. Like I get teared up just thinking about the magic she has. We were at Northview. And Johns Creek, it was busting at the seams. And Johns Creek High School was about to open. And I remember Fulton really jerked the teachers around on that one. What they do is they wait till all the counties, other surrounding counties, the contracts are in, and then they announce where they're going to surplus you. Now,
what does that mean?
You're moving to another school, but keep in mind there's South Fulton, which I don't mind, but I'm not wired to be in a car 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
But it's a much different day working near the airport versus working at Northview. And I don't mind it, but I just can't sit in a car that long. I mean, I've worked in all kinds of schools in Gwinnett and Fulton. And so we're at a faculty meeting and no one knows their future. Everyone's thinking, I'm going to get sent to some school that's not going to be, I moved to my house to live near that school. So I'd be close to work. And I just remember her, she's pregnant, in her words, she's like, I was a little hormonal, and she comes up to me after the meeting and, she calls it like it is. And she can talk like a sailor if she wants to. Love you, Carrie. And she just said, forget this, man. Let's start our own school.
Did she say, forget this?
No, I love it. You know what? It's like, let's go. She said CeeLo like over the public airways.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Forget you.
Yeah,
I love that.
Forget you. And it's funny. We laugh now.
Was that the one that was
the first teacher I called. I said, hey, remember, but when I owned the tutoring center, she would come tutor SAT and ACT prep. And she and a couple other teachers gave that school instant credibility, and me, because I owned a tutoring center and I worked for it, But I remember her husband came in and interviewed me before she took the job.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, here we are in the upstairs of a Kroger shopping center, middle building. And he said, and I'm nervous because without this teacher, I have no school. And you can't get accreditation until you're open. But people don't, it's the chance. They don't want to go to a school if you're not accredited. It's the chicken and the egg. Dad joke for you. Ready?
Yeah.
Go. Yesterday on Amazon, I ordered a chicken and an egg. I'll let you know.
Solid. All right. So back to
the ones
cool.
Before we started
you're interviewing the husband, or he's
interviewing me
above a Kroger. This is a
Kroger.
shopping center.
It's not above a Kroger. It's above a taqueria next to a Kroger.
So
El Trompo, best Mexican food.
Oh my God,
right.
it is good.
So clearly
Pachano
not the
torta.
Harvard of the South. So he does not have the Harvard of the South. He's not Yale. He's not UC Berkeley. He's not higher education. He's sitting literally in a shopping center saying, I'm going to transform lives. I'm going to save people, and I'm going to change the way education works in a Kroger, or actually in a taqueria.
In retail space. And so it is higher education. But you know what? I feel bad for these other schools that like have to walk far to get their groceries. I mean, we just Kroger. You need your eyebrows threaded. We got you covered, man.
Dude,
You need
another
a
reason to go to William.
mani pedi where you're school, man. you need some dry cleaning. But let's talk.
I would
about
drop
that
my son off and my dry cleaning at the same time. It was
little
great.
Riverside Pizza.
was
You know
great.
Riverside Pizza. If you have kids, you know Riverside Pizza. Oh yeah. How far is Riverside from your kid's school? Well, for us, it's 30-second walk. Not even.
So, which school you want to go to, kid? How about that? Hello. All right. So, how many kids do you have in your school?
Well, let me talk about the facility for a second. It is incredibly humbling at Carpool to see these highly educated parents, several of which live in this neighborhood, that can send their kids anywhere, choose William and Reed because what's on the inside of that building. And we made a philosophical decision when we started to go slow and steady because it's so affordable, man. It's so affordable. You know, the second we move, our overhead quadruples to quintuples. I mean, it's a lot. And so we just said, let's go slow and steady. And if people get it, they'll get it. And are you familiar with Kings Ridge?
I am. Very
beautiful school.
Yep.
Beautiful school. And we had a family come from Kings Ridge.
Started by a guy who was living here in St. Ives at the time. From Michigan originally. And I played baseball against him in high school. Oh, by the way, Smoltz. Hello.
Yes, Smoltzy Boltzy.
Yeah. Well,
it's a great school.
You played baseball against him?
Okay. So long story short is I didn't know it. And he didn't pitch.
Well, because he wasn't John Smoltz then. I mean,
right. But my buddy told me, he says, we played against him. So he was a senior. I was a sophomore. I was on the baseball team. And I grew up 30 minutes away from him. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
so
amazing.
when I saw him down here in St. Ives when I first moved here, I came up and and he's a big Sparty fan, and that's Michigan State. And my wife went there, so I went up and, hey man, wife's Sparty, and he goes, hey, yeah. I said, my buddy tells me we played baseball against you, and I said I came from Jackson Lumen Christi. He goes, oh man, you guys. And I was a Catholic high school, so we were known as that team, right? And so anyway. I said, so I have no idea if I won, but I know you didn't pitch, and thank you. That's how I left it.
Well, that school he helped found started in a Bruno's grocery store.
Yeah, I do know that.
And it took him about 10 years. And you look at their school now, it's like a, country club. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But this family comes, this very affluent family, great family. And I made a little joke about being in a Kroger, and she said, don't knock it. We were part of Kings Ridge before it was what it is now. And we still have friends that are connected there, and they reflect fondly on the Bruno's days. She said, do you know why? And I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm like, yeah, give me this golden nugget. And which I use at every open house that we do. She said, because when you have a school and retail space, everybody's there for the right reason.
Bingo. Ooh. Watch that. That is the gold nugget. So what he just said is, hey, look, man, I don't care what it looks like. I'm paying the people on the inside. And so when you go in there and you get the value on the inside coming out, because that means you paying your teachers a little bit more. You're bringing your rock stars. Your rock stars are then turning other people in and creating those minds, that next level people. These are the kids we want these are the kids we want working for us. These are the kids we want starting businesses. These are the kids we want in our government. We do not want the kids who are just droning and not thinking for themselves. Clearly, these kids are learning how to think for themselves and what the real world looks like. And I love this stuff, man. I'm just jonesing right now.
Preach.
How many years has it been?
We're in year 9.
And in 9 years, you have state championship tennis teams.
Every year we've competed, we're state champ. Look, I'm an underdog guy, but it's nice winning. I'm not going to lie,
And you've got kids that have gone on to what schools?
We have several kids that are Georgia Tech, Georgia. We have someone who's probably going to go to Brown. So we have some Ivy Leaguers, but listen, I never wanted to become a school where when people come in, we put up a pie chart of SAT scores and, college admit, because to me, the kid that was hell bent on not going to college, who graduated William and Reed, who came back a year later and said, now I'm ready. To me, that's just as cool as important, or the kid that doesn't want to go that goes eventually. To me, that's as noteworthy as someone that goes to Yale or Harvard. To me, the Harvard kid's going to go to Harvard, whether they're at any school. The school can't take. That's why these local schools that boast. When I worked at one of these schools around here, I won't name it. I've named a couple, but there was kind of an arrogance there where, Charles Barkley has the 50-50 rule. 50% of the people are going to love you, 50% are going to hate you. And working at that school, it was a 50-50 rule if other teachers would respond to me when I said good morning. Like, you're teaching 9th grade biology and you're calling help sessions office hours? Come on, man. Like, what? Come on. So it's really important to me that you get the most out of every kid. This is when you go to William and Reed, when your child comes there, what you're paying for is them to use their voice, develop their voice, and have a great self-inventory and be able to advocate for themselves when they graduate. That's what you're getting. You're getting the kids that are going to hire these they'll have the vision and the mindset and the work ethic to manage the kids, the cubicle kids, and so I love it. I love that our most introverted students who would literally have an anxiety attack and not go to school for a month if they had to present something are up presenting at our school.
Well, and I can tell you my youngest son, and it's so interesting. I got 3 kids, and the first one who actually works for you now, very much an introvert when he was growing up, but now you can't get him to stop talking. And then the second one was an extrovert. The third one was so introverted that 30% of the time when we went out to dinner, he could not order what he wanted. And he ended up having to make the speech. He was valedictorian at your school, and I was terrified. And he actually crushed it.
He crushed it, man.
And he's now at Georgia Tech, and he's had a couple of situations where he's had to go in and advocate for himself with and I'm just dumbfounded that he's been able to do that. It's really amazing.
Isn't that life skills right there?
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about that for a minute, because that's the part that you're changing people's perception. Do they need to go to high school to help? Do you need to go to college? I did, and of course I got my master's degree, and I flaunt that a lot.
Go ahead.
But don't worry. It was
beat me over the head again with that. You learn how to make screws.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, but those are the best screws you've ever seen. And so
screw you.
Screw you. That's right. The other dad jokes. I need him in here to talk to me more. But that's the point, is when you come out and you learn life skills. In fact, my daughter's pulling the same move on me. She's in healthcare. She wants to go back to PA school, and she's working for a doctor. I said, how about networking? She goes, no, Dad, it doesn't work in healthcare. You don't understand. And I literally ran out of the house, screamed, and came back in and said, you're kidding me, right? I said, that's life skills, kid. That's what it's about. It's about making connections with people, because people drive business. You can sit there and be the best computer jockey in the world, right? You can come up with the best algorithm in the world to figure out how you're going to beat the stock market. But you know what? If you can't figure out how to get somebody else to buy into what you're doing, or you can do it all by yourself, great. That's like starting a business off your credit card with $5,000 and making $1 million, because we've already talked about that. That doesn't happen. You better have a plan, get into the business, start your business, and business is built with working with people and making people happen. People inside and people outside. Your customers, that's your parents and your kids, and the people who are providing. And that's the people that are doing it for you. So how many teachers do you have now?
We have 22 people on payroll, about 17, 18 teachers. So yeah.
And all handpicked. All
handpicked. We hardly ever advertise for a job. It usually doesn't go farther than one of our current teachers putting on Facebook, hey, you want to work at the best school. Now, to compete, I mean, think about this. We didn't talk about this, and I don't know, but our model is 4 days a week, which studies are showing a 4-day work week is more productive. A lot of corporate jobs are looking at that.
All right. So for my employees who are listening, he's wrong. It's actually 6 days a week. Okay. 6 days. I'll give you 1 day back. All right. You get 1 day back with your family, but no, I'm kidding. All right. Go back. All right.
No, it's 4
very
days
biblical, Chris.
So our teachers are teaching, there's extra stuff they can do. There's study halls and coaching and sponsoring clubs and things like that, but they're working 22 hours a week. And because of that, it really draws younger people where this might be a second income for them, or they have little kids at home and they really want that life work balance, and they want to drive home feeling like they made a difference and they gain some sort of traction. And they get that at our school. Now, what they also get is proportionally probably more money than they'd make elsewhere teaching, but it's a part-time job for them. But they also, like, we have a 401k. This past year, we started a match. There's dental, vision, health insurance. As an employer, that stuff does not come cheap. And so,
I'm actually we want to keep a side hustle job. So do you need anybody to teach somebody about how to really screw up a handyman business?
Because we'll talk. My problem is
you can teach them how to make wine in a bathtub.
If you can figure out how to
do that too.
Wine in a bathtub.
Wow, Alan, you just brought back a horrible memory.
I love that memory.
Yeah. It's 7 years old. I was 7 years old. First, so how long have you been drinking, Chris? Since I was 7. True story.
So I want
that explains a lot.
I want to ask about scaling, because that's important. We talk about scaling a lot to the entrepreneurs that we have out there in all 15 continents. And, there's you can scale too quickly, or you can not plan to scale. And I mean, obviously this is a very important thing to a new school. You obviously have to scale, but how big can you get and maintain this culture that you have?
I think if we keep the standard of the teachers, sky's the limit, but our sweet spot's about 250 students.
You probably
we're at 140 right now.
My guess is that you were the one doing all the talking at the beginning for the first couple of years, and now when a new teacher comes on board, it's not you, it's the other teachers that are kind of bringing the culture to the new ones.
Yeah, if you came to one of our informational sessions, one of the teachers will get up and talk. She's now our marketing person, phenomenal teacher. Like, everybody in leadership there has been a teacher that, was handpicked by me because they just have the goods. I mean, they get the vision, they understand, I trust them completely. And she'd say, what I love about this job is because there's so much talent around me, the bar is so high, I don't want to let my colleagues down or my students down. So we're self-regulating there. Like I really don't need to, I don't have to be around to make sure a good product is. These are just the best of the best. I got to tell you guys.
Don't limit it. You limited it, Alan. I'm dying. No,
don't
you ever do that again.
No,
you limited him.
Talking about limiting it.
Don't limit it that. This dude has something. This thing's going to be mind-blowing, and this thing has to go nationwide. I'm talking nationwide.
Yeah, how do you fix our regular schools?
There's another walk by podcast. Nationwide 305.
Yeah, I was wondering if you TikTok with Pitbull.
I did not, because he had so many people around him. I'm like, do they not know who the real guy is?
Push them out of the way. Do they not know I'm a big deal?
I have the same hairline, bro.
Yeah.
What the hell? But no, the stuff he's talking about, it's revolutionary. It's avant-garde, because
isn't it sad that it's revolutionary? It just blows my mind.
It is sad. But here, let's go back to my arc, right? And so I was just on another podcast with somebody else, and they said,
Hunter, it's always back to Chris. Did you notice that?
Hey, can we make it about Chris, please?
John warned me.
Perfect. Thank you.
Alan's son is like, be prepared.
Yeah,
I love it though, man. You got a great story yourself.
Well, thank you, Alan.
Oh, quit looking at me like that.
So if someone needs a beer breakthrough, I just sneak away.
Yeah,
and then
you
come
go
back.
away, Chris and I'll.
Do you think Chris will be able to fill the time? Do you think he has?
I don't know.
But you know what?
He might be looking at his shoes like a normal engineer.
You know what? I have got to. You cannot take a beer break. Stop. Because how the hell do you scale something?
I worried about that too, because I'm 51, and my goal when I did this was to have the option to retire at 55. I don't want to retire at 55. I love what I do. I love the people I work with. It's, you put the groundwork in, you lay the groundwork, and it's okay. But I was thinking, hey, what if I ended up moving back to Naples, my hometown? We're like,
everybody goes to die.
Heaven's waiting room,
which is where my father's at. And now I'm thinking about maybe I should move him back up here and put him. But he wouldn't go anyway. So
well, I was talking to a good friend of mine who you might want to even have on your podcast one day, and he I said, hey man, I don't even know I wouldn't know where to begin. I don't have a business degree. I'm grassroots. I hustle. And so he said, I said, the magic of our school is me having roots in the community and having equity with the local teachers, having a reputation that they know, okay, this guy's going to, he's going to deliver. And so someone, I think it was my friend, he looked at me and he said, because I said, I don't know anybody in Naples. He's like, you don't need to know anybody in Naples. What you need to know, you just need to find one Hunter Cluthe down there in the local schools. That's what you need to if you want to scale and open another location. And that resonated with me. And so the idea is you get someone who is Rockstar, but kind of had enough, just like our teachers.
Spent a lot of time in detention.
It spends a lot of time in detention, but is well-rooted, who has instant equity in the community and with other teachers, and you let them help, you give them some ownership in it, and you let them help you staff it.
I'll add something to that because for those of us listening, the part that you probably have, we haven't really touched on a lot, is obviously it's the administration, how to run a business, because you have to have that stuff. So if you give them that framework, I'm not talking franchise, I'm talking, if you give them that framework, they may be able to pull off what their passion is, which is providing that. Because I don't want to make it sound like, what are all those stupid tutor sessions? Kumar, the other one.
Harold and Kumar? Is that
No,
I'm not going to say.
He can't
I don't want to
say.
badmouth him.
No, but I like that idea. But what you're building, so that's where you
know about Harold and Kumar. Alan, I love you, man. I love you.
He's good.
You go to White House.
We need to have a drink someday. I don't know.
How about right now? Cheers.
Cheers.
You did your best. All right. So you're building this thing, trying to figure out how to scale it. It's come down to people, but you have the process, you have the blueprint, you have the idea to do this. Are you starting to package that up and starting to figure out how to, or are you still staying right?
I just feel like we haven't hit our local goals. I don't want to get spread too thin. I still want to do this as well as we can. Our goal is in a couple years to have a permanent facility, to be out of where we are right now, because I really think so many people, even though it's a phenomenal school, what I try and tell people is imagine all the top-notch doctors in this area get sick of the bureaucracy of these big hospitals. And they said, we're starting our own thing. And it's just an ugly building where they're doing it. But when you go in, you have top-notch care.
Yeah.
And it just runs smoothly. It's a well-oiled machine. There's not all this paperwork and extra red tape. And so I really want to just stay focused on this and scale what we have locally before like opening. And you didn't ask that, but people, we have some parents say, this is amazing. We should open one of these in downtown Atlanta, And here's the beauty of this. It's kind of a no frill school. Like, yes, we have athletics. We have everything from tennis, golf, swim, basketball. We have
sporting clays.
Yes.
Thank you, Alan,
I love
for
that.
another sport. How about fly fishing? Do they have fly fishing?
No, not yet.
No, but think about
you
it.
Tell me a public goddamn school that's got sporting clays, because
Really?
Yeah.
I was so nervous. I fought it for 2 years. And then I finally said, you put a room full of parents in here on Wednesday night. If they can convince me, sure, we'll let our middle schoolers have firearms, shoot clays. And they convinced me. And the teacher in charge of it is absolutely phenomenal. He's an outdoorsman.
Right. So let's sum this sucker up.
Yeah, let's sum it up.
Come to Hunter's school and you can shoot shit when you're in middle school. Do you want to go there? Hell yeah. Sign me up.
Done.
I think I need a t-shirt for that.
Come to my school, you can shoot shit.
Oh man.
It is amazing though, I think it takes balls to walk up those steps the first time as a parent. Because you're literally above a dry cleaner, a taqueria.
Which is against every mindset we've ever grown up with here in the US.
And the second you open that door, you're in a special place. I really feel that.
I gotta tell you, and maybe this resonates with you, Alan, and I'm not just giving you guys a bunch of crap, but these guys have encouraged me to curse, audience, and I'm a cursor, and I'm just holding back in case our parents listen to this. But the other cursors out there, I hope you appreciate my restraint right now. But the biggest compliment we get, I promise you, is most parents will say, thank you for giving me my child back. They enjoy going to school. They wake up. I don't have to fight the fight.
I can't respond to that, Al. I'm going to cry.
Okay, let it go.
Alan, can you attest to that? I mean, what's your experience?
Yeah, no. It's 100%. It's 100%. my son, who's brilliant, got a wicked sense of humor, and there was just something wrong. And the local schools are great. It just wasn't working. And I was like, but your two older brothers, I was doing the old school dad, there's people from other countries living in tents trying to get into these schools. But then finally I'm like, we need to maybe do something different. And my wife told me she and he met with you without me the first time. And she said
Probably smart.
He was literally skipping on the way back to the car. And he went from being every Sunday, the look on his face, gearing up for the next day of school, to pretty quickly being neutral on school when he first switched to you. And then the next year, he's like, and I had to drive him at the time. And he told me, he goes, Dad, we've been kind of cutting it close, getting to school, and we need to leave a little earlier. This is my son telling me we need to leave a little earlier to get to school.
You know what? I love the kid even more because I feel the same way. Because if Alan had to drive me to school every day, I'd be like, hey, Dad, can you get me out of the fucking car quick? Sorry.
By the way, he also told his brother once he got his license, it was nice to drive to school without all the chatter.
What? Okay. Isn't that funny?
Such a pie-hole, Dad.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm like, hey, I'm not an Uber. You got to talk to me if I'm getting up and driving you.
That's any teenager, bro.
I did the same thing. I drove my kids to school at the beginning, and so I used to let her sleep. And look what I get now.
Yeah,
I
do better.
Do better. And hey, Dad, the car is making a clunking sound at 8 o'clock at night. Hey, at midnight, Dad, can you go put oil in my car? Yeah, because I have to go to work tomorrow. I'm like, what have I done? All right, Hunter.
Oil in the car again. This family has an oil problem.
Yeah, they do.
We do have an oil problem. Oh, she's so much. All right, Hunter, you are amazing. You are honestly, I can't say this enough. I don't even know how to say this. He literally is doing the Lord's work because this is crazy stuff. And I'm, as you know, I'm a Catholic guy, so that means I'm not that spiritual.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, of course I am. But we're talking, and dude,
underneath all that Vegas in the water skiing pyramid and the stripper yachts down at Daytona, you're a very spiritual guy, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I have it in me a little bit.
Amen.
A lot.
Hunter, you've done amazing work. And this amazing academy is all brought to you by your life. But let's talk about the way you did it. Entrepreneurship, getting the right people in, getting the right candidates in, getting the right people involved, and then staying true to that mission.
Picking the right customers.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Staying true to that mission. Not going to grow outside of where he's ready to go. If you didn't hear that, you got to slow your roll, man, because that's a gold nugget. You want to get bigger. You want to get bigger so bad, but bigger is not better. Warren Buffett said it. Better is better. And he's living that world. But all right.
Sure.
Here we go. We're going to have to hit you with the final 4 questions because I added another one.
I did add one.
You added
Hit me with it.
So you ready? All
Yeah.
right. Number 1. This is Alan's question. What is the favorite book that you've read?
I want Alan to ask it if it's his question. Come on, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's not always about Chris. Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah.
Ask that fucking question.
What book would you recommend to our listeners that's really made an impact on you?
I am not the hugest reader, but I'll tell you, I'm a math teacher, man. I'm a doer.
So,
One of my favorite, I'm a big chess player. Bobby Fischer teaches chess. That's my book recommendation.
Oh my goodness.
Or Animal Farm if you're in 9th grade lit. I don't know.
oh my God, that's the best answer ever. I want Alan to listen. And
Hey, well-educated parents don't judge.
Yeah.
hey,
All of my admin team, they're huge readers. They
right.
they do that for me.
but you know what? Hey, John, that's why the podcast is all about me. All right, let's go.
John.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is.
No, it's John.
Yeah,
It's John.
yeah.
Well done.
That's right. It was.
Nice
I've
job.
never met him.
All right, what's your
Like
next
Phil.
uncomfortable question?
He'd actually could be an interesting guest.
I think after this, he probably
Yeah.
will be. All
All
right.
right, next
All right.
one.
Number 1. You ready?
It's number 2.
Yeah. It's number 2.
Oh, it's number 2 now, but it's number 1 in my heart.
Okay. All right. The buzz has
All right.
kicked in.
He did get his master's degree, but he's having a hard time making it to 2.
1.
Two.
And question number 2. Hey,
Pretty sure earlier it said 4 + 4 = 7, and I should have walked out at that point.
come on. That's why I pulled it out.
guy's
I got
awesome,
nothing.
though.
I got nothing. All right.
Favorite feature of your home?
Oh, thank you, Alan. What's the favorite feature of your home?
Of my home?
Yeah.
Okay, so get this. So
Jeez.
Did someone snort?
I've only snorted twice in 2 years.
Well, I gotta tell you, Carrie Uhas, if you're watching this, that one was for you, baby. That one's for you.
I want her on our podcast.
She's freaking amazing.
Trust me.
We're getting on.
She's amazing.
For sure.
Look us up. Let's go.
For Jizzle, yo.
Favorite feature of your house?
My house. So after
You're a
my
hustler.
divorce, I bought a modest house on a good piece of land. And my midlife crisis was to put an oasis of a backyard in. It's amazing. Pool, spa, similar to what you got out there. And a woodworking shop. I'm a woodworker.
Ooh.
Hello. Working with his hands. I like that.
Yeah.
He's a man of the people.
And a drummer. Do you guys have any band suggestion names for a bunch of middle-aged white guys?
We can work on that.
Yeah.
A couple more drinks.
Think about that. I was thinking
Hunter's a Renaissance man.
He is. All right.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Yeah.
You're out there getting
3.
customer service. Oh, 3. I hate
Bless
this.
your heart. I'm just playing.
Bless your heart.
All right.
I
have
apologize.
30
For him,
questions.
you're dead to me.
I have, totally an educator, right? Totally wrong. Go to the corner. Put your nose in the corner. What? All right.
Number 3. Let's focus, guys. You
3.
think you wanted this
Yeah.
shorter.
And how are we doing?
I don't really
Ed,
care.
We're failing
Shorten this
miserably.
shit down because we're going deep. All right. Number 3. I can't remember it.
You need help with that too?
You can't have bourbon and expect it to go shorter. This
It can't be.
All
right.
counterintuitive.
All right. What's a customer service pet peeve of yours? Because we are customer service
Freaks.
Thank you.
And it's when you're out being serviced.
Okay.
Really? Really?
In Daytona?
Yeah.
Dude, you can't say that.
In the motor coach or
When
just
on the yacht
at Outback Steakhouse?
when you're in
Just
Vegas.
For the record, I was not serviced. I was a good boy. I'm still a good Catholic kid. Yes.
How many rosaries did you have to do after that weekend?
So Father Padraig said a few more.
Okay. Do better.
So I don't know. I think a pet peeve is just walking in a place and being invisible.
Yeah.
And being kind of a down-to-earth regular chap that loves to tip really well because I've worked in the service industry, and to just be invisible. Like when people are getting served around you and you're still sitting there, that's my pet peeve.
And how hard is it to just make eye contact?
Yeah, or hey, I'll be right with you.
Yeah. And sorry it's taking so long. Yeah.
I'll tell my kids, I go out with my kids and they're like, don't do it, Dad. I'm like, damn it, I'm invisible again. I make a big deal, All
right. I use this in my business because of this podcast. People ask me all the time, hey, man, you make any money off your podcast? I'm like, yeah. But I've monetized it because I've learned this. And that's what I tell my guys. Every day, I have at least 15 people in people's houses. Most of the time, we're at 30 people's houses every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is people buy from people they like. So be likable. They buy you. Be likable, and they'll like you. I can't tell you how many tips these guys have gotten, but I will tell you this. In the month of January, every single one of my employees got an add-on from the work they were doing. That means people like them.
Yeah.
Volumes.
Yeah.
Let me talk about your industry, my pet peeve. Because my pool project finished up, I don't know, less than a year ago. The goalpost moving as far as, well, you go with me and you're going to pay a little more, but you have any issues, I got you. And then when push comes to shove, they
don't got you.
No, they don't got you. And it's maddening.
Is this where I go, hey, Hunter, I got you?
Yeah.
That sounds so hollow, right? I got to prove it because that's the thing. Yeah. The next guy you go with.
The guy that did the landscaping, he goes, I'm sorry, those trees aren't warranted because they're not on irrigation. Okay. I mean, I watered them the way you told me to water them. But now the ones that are on irrigation are dead. And I told him in October and he blew me off. He goes, I can't be responsible for the cold weather freeze. I said, well, check your text messages because in October, I asked you to come out and look at these. So what is it? Those are on irrigation. Are you going to cover those? It's just maddening. And I'm just going to probably, give up and just pay and do it myself.
I know, but people they'll say whatever they need to get the business and then they just don't back it up.
I know.
Our business
backs it up.
Tell me you back it up.
I do, buddy. I do.
Well, then you're my guy.
Hey,
you're my brother from another mother.
I got you.
Yo, you my main doodle stain.
He's gonna start rapping.
That's what I'm screaming. What?
I love this dude. All right. Do I have to ask
I love you too, bro.
Fourth? You know what? Here's my 75th question.
Okay.
Yeah. 77.
Are
I'm on 77.1247.
And
B.
final question.
And
This is
final-
4.
This is it. Final question.
Okay.
All right, ready? Well, give us a DIY nightmare story. Not what somebody else did. What did you do that totally screwed up your house?
Oh man, there's probably something, but the only thing I'm thinking of is I'm re-plumbing and rewiring a laundry room. And I could have just run Romex behind some plumbing, but no, I wanted to go through the studs. And right in front of me is copper. And I just drilled right in. I nicked it. It didn't puncture it, but that could have been really bad. So yeah, I haven't closed up the wall yet because I feel like I should do something with that. But that's the closest. I'm sure there's something else. I probably blocked it out, man. I got to be honest with you.
You know, fair, because that's what makes the best athletes. That's what makes the best teachers. Block it out. Make it happen. Let's get going. All right, let's sum this sucker up.
Boom shakalaka.
You can start a business. You can start a business because you believe in a passion project. You can start a business because, somebody just told you, hey, this is a good idea. This dude started a passion project. He didn't have anybody tell him to do it. He is actually doing exactly what we want, right? And that's training young people's minds to think differently than people today do, because we want these people. We want these people in our lives. This is amazing. If you're not listening to this podcast and picking something up, you're wrong. You got to make it happen. Get in there, make it happen. We're going to see you next time because we got to go. We're out of here.
Cheers.
Peace out.